Hi everyone, Paolina here of the Afro Anime Initiative, and welcome back. Today or whenever, I am doing episode 7 review of Carol and Tuesday, and the episode is called Show Me the Way, and it's a song by Peter Frampton. Again, if you're not as familiar with Peter Frampton as you should be, please familiarize yourself. Great musician. Um, Now, in this episode, Gus and Roddy are like, hey, just be on Mars Brightest. Mars Brightest is essentially a Mars version of American Idol, and they're like, well, it's a shortcut. It's a way for it's a way for them to get their debut officially. Even though I'm thinking like, why didn't y'all think of that in the beginning, making them go through all of that, whatever. Um, and so they fill out the application, they submit it, they go and audition, and of course it's like just a lot of people. They said that the year before was 200,000 people, so it's probably the same number, if not more, a little less, around the same range for a number of auditions. And of course, of course, it's just a bunch of meme people. Like half of them can't even sing. um there's one guy they met who's there just they to be famous, and his name is Pete. I'm sorry, it's like the Russian version of Peter, basically. He's a social media star, and really, 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 really annoying. One of those. And the other auditions, again, just a bunch of memes. There's like that I don't know, like half of them are just, why are you there? Why do you think you can sing? Like, don't even bother. And there's just one particular character I remember seeing a meme of on Tumblr like a couple years ago, of this weird Russian singer. Like, I don't know. I'll put the name in the description, or at least in the tags, and just look them up and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the episode, just look at it and you'll know who I'm talking about. And so, Carol and Tuesday's turn, it comes up, but Tuesday expresses, um, nervousness because previously Carol points out, like, hey, aren't you a runaway? Aren't you afraid of being found out? And of course, Tuesday's like, oh my God, no. So Gus, takes a pair of sunglasses and, gives them to her, and, it's a slight disguise, but it's not really much. So they go and audition. Tuesday comes up with just some weird, another day of the week is her name, so it just kind of, flip flops. The judges were a little confused, but they're like, okay, whatever. Carol, they ask what her origin is, and she, delves into her background a bit. She's a refugee from Earth, but she was abandoned at a church, so she doesn't really know who her parents are. Um, Tuesday, is just realizing like, oh, this is her background. She feels kind of bad from holding back so much from Carol, the girl she's working with. She's living with her. She feels like, no, she needs to know more about me. So they begin their audition, and so it cuts to Angela and her mom, in the office or studio of Tao, and Dahlia, I believe, is like, okay, what's going on? You got 12 million to invest in my daughter, but you're not telling us what's going on. What's happening? What are you doing? And Tao says that Angela is going to be auditioning for, or sorry, Mars Brightest. And Dahlia's like, but that's for amateurs. My daughter's not an amateur. And he's like, well, in order for her to debut officially as a musician, she would need to compete. And of course, Dahlia expresses concern, like, well, what if my daughter loses against a bunch of amateurs? And Tao's like, really? And asks Angela, like, are you going to lose to a bunch of amateurs? And Angela's like, but no, of course not. I'm Angela. And I'm like, and Angela isn't as annoying as I believed she would become. She has an interesting backstory, or at least what we learn of her so far. Where there is a little bit of an interesting backstory to her, and again, she's just like one of those characters I'm just a little more invested in than our two main girls. And it's not that I don't like them. I love them. Carol and Tuesday are both adorable. They're both lovely, and I do want to learn more about Carol and her background and why her parents abandoned her. I'm pretty sure we probably won't really get to that point, but who knows? We have 23 episodes, so anything goes really. Um, but after they leave Tao's office, Dolly is like, you don't have much time to, you know, prepare for this show, and suggests that Angela comes home, and Angela's like, nah, I'm okay. And when she leaves her mom, she kind of does this internal monologue, and it's like, I can't go back home. She kind of alludes to, how her house is too stuffy, and it's implied that she didn't have a very good childhood in terms of how she was cared for. And she says something about like stains on the wall, and you like see a montage of like pictures on the wall, her room, the trophies on the wall, on the shelves, and stains, like dark reddish stains on the wall. And it's like, what happened there, you know and she mentioned that, she mentioned her mom's hands. And so there's just this implication that Angela did not have a very good life at home, which is a huge reason why she moved out and is living on her own, like at 16. But I think her mom, is still her legal guardian at this point. But she has the agency and the money to be able to be on her own, at least with surveillance, I guess. I don't know how it works on Mars with when it comes to teen stars, child stars, or anything like that. So that I really appreciate them actually, the show actually going back to Angela and seeing like what her progress is, what her process is, what she's preparing for. She's also going to be getting a new, like, she was getting a new manager, sorry, in the next episode, in episode 8. And so it's another one of those things where I'm looking forward to learning more about her. We have some really, really interesting characters on this show. So later on, after the audition, Tuesday, expresses that she feels bad that Carol doesn't know much about her. They're sitting by the waterfront, and they're having a heart to heart. And again, it's just one of those beautiful things about this show. It's that their relationship is so lovely. It's very beautiful, and I love how those two just get along so well, and they care for each other very, very, very deeply. And it's such a sweet thing to look at two girls in a friendship, or more than that, however you want to interpret it. It's they just care for each other. They love each other very much. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, but they talk. They learn a little bit more about each other. Tuesday reveals that she's the daughter of a politician. Of course, Carol jokes like, oh, that's terrible, which it is. I would never want to be the child of a politician, honestly. So, they learn more about each other. They come up with the help of a stranger, like this. I think it's the same guy from the laundromat, just coming by and just helps them come up with like this handshake, like this signature thing. And towards at the end of the episode, they get the news that, well, they get two forms of news. Bad news from Gus is that he held on to their money that they earned from the Sindonia Fest and spent it all at the dog race. Like he was supposed to double their earnings, but he lost it all. And it's like, okay, thanks, Gus. And the good news, though, is that they made it to the finals, or the semifinals. And they did, like, a whole film crew just comes in, and they're like, oh my God, you won. How do you feel? And both girls, they do their signature handshake, and it's pretty much it. It's kind of solidifies that, hey, we're going forward with this. So things do hit the fan in the show, because there are a lot more interesting people that will show up who have very close resemblance to real life artists. So there's one in particular that I really, really enjoy. But, and you know, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. Um, Overall, this episode was, it felt short. I don't know. I felt like a lot didn't happen, but a lot did. We learned a little bit more about Tuesday. We learned more about Carol actually, because we already know about her. We already know about Tuesday, but Carol herself kind of reiterates, you know, what her life is, where she came from, and we also learn a little bit more about Angela, which again, give me more, give me more. I want more. I like Angela. I like her. I like her mom. She kind of scares me, but I also kind of like Tao ish. I'm interested to know more about him too. So thank you for joining me on this short review. It's about the same length as any of the other reviews. I'm Paolina of the Afro Anime Initiative. Thank you once again. Take good care of yourselves. Don't forget to join the initiative. Please share this video and discuss it not only with us, but with your friends. Invite your friends to talk about it with me or Darren, or, you know, and it's you know, it's a fun time. So, take care. Good luck, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye.